Hey guys, welcome back to another Math with Max. As you can see, it is Christmas time at my house. I barely put up my tree. I love Christmas, but I have a red mark on my head. But y'all know I love Halloween more, but Christmas comes in second. And you can also see there's like a little bit of a, what is that? A little bit of glare right there. That's because I really wanted my Christmas tree on, and this is the best angle that I could get where you could still see the tree, but not have like a ton of glare in it, right? But oh well, you get what you get. It's a beautiful tree. I'm so excited to have it up. All right, so today we're talking about order of operations. So have out your journal and put in number 36. Can you see that? And it's order of operations. Okay, so write that in. And then go ahead and turn to page 36 and title it order of operations. And actually you're gonna go ahead and fill in all of these notes. So you need to pause it. If I go too fast, obviously I'm probably just gonna show this up here, and it's gonna say order of operations, and then you have the PEMDAS. You have PMDAS, the M standing for multiplication, the D standing for, parentheses, P standing for parentheses, M standing for multiplication, D for division, A for addition, and then S for subtraction. Okay, so as you can see in the notes, P is for parentheses or brackets, and we're going to talk about those in just a minute. So parentheses meaning when it's like those curved ones, and then bracket is when it looks like a box, kind of like half of a square. Okay, the next one is the multiplication, and it does say left to right, whichever one comes first. We'll talk about that in just a minute. And then addition and subtraction. Again, left to right, whichever comes first. Again, we'll talk about that in just a second. So go ahead and write down this equation exactly the way that it's written. It's very important that you write it down exactly the way that I have it in there, because if not, mistakes are going to happen. All right, so we have 30 minus 18 in parentheses, and then we have plus 14, and that's inside of those brackets here. On the outside, we have divided by 2, and then plus 6, and we have to figure out what the answer is. Okay, so in order of operations, it means that you have to follow that order. And we talked about the word operations before. We talk about it all the time. The word operations, you have 4 operations, right? So you have add, subtract, multiply, and divide. Now, in order of operations, it means that you have to follow them in that particular order, parentheses, multiplication, division, addition, and subtraction. Otherwise, your answer is not going to come out correct, okay? So, first of all, because I start out with the P, the first thing I'm looking for is anything that's parentheses or brackets. So looking at this particular question right here, we do have parentheses and we have brackets. In fact, we have parentheses inside of the brackets. So that tells me that the first step here is going to be the 30 minus the 18. Okay? So I'm going to just draw like a little arrow down just beneath that 30 minus 18. Okay? Just like a little arrow, just like that. You can see that right there. Okay, so 30 minus 18. 18 can be broken up into 10 and 8. So 30 minus 10 would give me 20, and then 20 minus 8 would give me 12. Okay, so right there, I'm going to write a 12. Right underneath that little arrow that I just wrote down, just like that. Okay, is that clear to you? All right, so that tells me that I've already done the 30 times 18, but I still have all this other stuff on the outside that I need to get done. So what you do is you do one thing and then you drop everything else down. You need to remember that. You do one thing and then you drop the rest down. Because if you don't drop it down, you're gonna forget to do it. So what do I mean by that? Well, outside of that 30 minus 18, we have all that other stuff that needs to come down. So let me show you how that is going to look. We still have the brackets because I still have that plus 14. And then I still have the divided by 2 and the plus 6. And I still don't know my answer because I still have all this left to do. Okay, is that focused for you? All right. Now, I still have those brackets, so that tells me that that's my next step. I can't move on from parentheses and brackets until I can't do anything else unless parentheses and brackets are done. So if anytime you see parentheses and brackets, you still have those, that has to get done first. Okay, so in that parentheses and brackets, we have 12 plus the 14. And again, I'm going to draw a little arrow down from the plus sign, just a little arrow, and 12 plus 14. So 10 and 10 gives me 20, and then 2 and 4 gives me 6, so that gives me 26. Okay, just like that. Okay, that gives me 26. Now, as you can see, we still have that divided by 2 and that plus 6 on the outside, so I need to bring that down. Remember, we did one little teeny tiny step, and then we're dropping the rest of it down. You only do one, not 11 thing, one thing, and then you drop it down, okay? So divided by 2 and plus the 6. And because I already did what was inside parentheses and what was in brackets, I can get rid of those. I don't need to include them forever and ever and ever. I'm already done with them. Okay, so now what I have, making sure you see it, is this. Okay, so now what do I have? I have 26 divided by 2 plus 6. So I have a division sign and then I have an addition sign. So according to my order of operations, if you look at the very top, oh, something fell in the kitchen. We did the parentheses and brackets. Next I have multiplication and division. Well, there's no multiplication, so I need to move on to division. Okay. So my next step is that 26 divided by 2. Again, I'm going to draw a little arrow coming down from that division sign. So 26 divided by 2. If you don't know that in your brain and you can't figure it out, do it to the side. Put 26 inside the house and then divide it by 2. That should give you 13. Okay? So just like that. But I still have to add that 6 at the end because I still have to do it. If I do one tiny thing, I'm not doing everything at one time. I have to keep on bringing it down. So I still have 13 plus 6, and that should give me a final answer of 19. Okay, so we did a lot of steps just to get that one answer, but that is the correct order of operations. Now, in this particular case, there was not all four operations. Some equations might only have 3 operations or 2 operations. Just depends on what is in there. Okay, so on the back of that page, I want you to write down, let me show on the right page of my other journal. I'm going to show you some equations that we're going to practice on, so a little bit of practice. So turn to the back. So this is what I have right now. I want you to turn to the back right here and title it practice. Okay, I've already written my equations down. Don't worry about writing them all down. Just focus on writing this first one down right here. This 30 minus, and then the bracket, 4 times, and then the parentheses, 2 plus the 5. Okay? So, again, our order of operations is parentheses or brackets, multiplication, division, addition, and subtraction. But let's talk about multiplication, division. Multiplication, division, they're best friends. Okay? So think about you and your best friend. If your best friend wanted to cut in front of you in line, are you going to let them? Probably, right? That tells me that if I'm looking at an equation and I see that division is first, or if I'm looking at an equation and I see division that came first before the multiplication, then I'm going to do the division part first. I'm always looking from left to right. Okay? And then the same thing for addition and subtraction. They're best buds. They're homies or whatever you want to call it, okay? So if subtraction, it comes first in the equation, then I need to do subtraction first. But if addition is first, then I'm going to do the addition first. It just depends on which one I see first when I'm looking, like you're reading a book. You're looking from left to right, okay? It's the same thing. Only thing is now we're doing it with math. We're not doing it with reading. Okay, so we have that equation. So think about what are we going to do first? According to our order of operations, we have PMDAS, okay? Do I see parentheses? Yes, I do. That's what that P stands for. So in that parentheses, I'm going to do the 2 plus the 5. I'm going to draw a little arrow right here and do the 2 plus the 5. It's weird to do things like that's in the very back of the equation, right? And you're probably like, ooh, but that's weird. But that's just how it's done. Okay, so 2 plus 5 gives you 7. Okay, but again, we've only done that one thing. I need to bring down the rest of it. I still have this times 4, and that times 4 is in parentheses. So I need to make sure that, brackets, sorry. So I want to make sure that I do that times 4, but I'm making sure I'm keeping that bracket because I'm not done with it yet. So I have the times the 4 inside the bracket, and then on the outside of the bracket, I still have that 30 minus, okay? So just like that. I haven't done this part yet, and I haven't done this part yet, so I have to make sure I bring it all down, okay? I see brackets. Again, I already just did parentheses. I see brackets now, so I have to do what's in the brackets. So what in brackets is 4 times 7. That should give you 28. Now, because I did what was in the brackets, I'm done with them now. Just like right here where I did the 2 plus the 5, do you see more parentheses around that 7? No, because I already did what was in there. It's like I got rid of it. Once I solved what was on the inside, I let it go, okay? But I still have that minus 30 on the outside. So what I'm left with right now is just 30 minus 28, which obviously is going to give you a 2. Okay, and that is our final answer for that equation, just like that. Okay, pretty simple. All right, let's move on to the next one. And sorry guys, it's a little hard for me to see. So we have 36 minus 5 plus parentheses 16 minus 11. Okay, so we need to make sure that that's written down correctly, obviously. Okay, so what do I notice? I notice that I have parentheses and I don't want to, there we go. Why is it not focusing? Okay, I want to make sure that I do what is in parentheses first. So the 16 minus 11 is going to be my first step. 16 minus 11, mental math there, that's 15. Now, I did what was inside parentheses, so I don't need them anymore, but I have to drop everything else down, which is the plus 5 and the minus 36. Okay, so here's what we just talked about. We talked about how addition and subtraction and that are besties, right? And then multiplication and division are best friends. So whoever comes first in line gets to go first, okay? So if you look here, we have, sorry, this side, my bad. Right here, we have subtraction in front of addition. They're best friends. They can cut in front of each other. So because the subtraction is first on this equation, I'm going to do 36 minus 5 first. Okay. 36 minus 5 leaves you with 31. And then I did that part, but I still have to add on that last 15. Oh, not 15. I'm sorry. It's a 5. My bad. That's not a 15, that's a 5. My bad. If you caught that a long time ago, I'm very sorry. That is my fault. Back here should be a 5 right here. And so then we have 31 plus the 5, and that should give you 36. Sorry about that. My bad. Okay. Good thing I had my notes here because then I wouldn't pay attention to it. So then we have 36 as our final answer. Okay. A lot of times on the test, they're going to say simplify this equation or this expression. And what all they're saying when they mean simplify in this particular case is to solve it. I know that normally when we think of simplify, we think of making rainbows and dividing. But simplify, the word simplify actually means to make smaller, which is the same thing that we do with our fractions, right? When we make the rainbows, we're making the fractions smaller. It's the same thing here. I'm making that expression smaller by reducing it into one final answer. So you might see it says simplify the equation. You're gonna be like, but there's no fractions. Don't have a panic attack. It just means to solve. All right. All right. Down here, right here, I want you to write the 8 times the 6 minus the 4 times the 3. Okay. So on this particular one, there are no parentheses and there's no brackets, so I don't have to worry about that one. So then I'm moving on to multiplication, division, addition, and subtraction. So I'm looking for multiplication and division. Whichever one comes first. Remember, besties, they can cut in front of each other. So the very first thing I do see is this multiplication. But if you notice, there's also multiplication in the back, and that's okay. This one is going to go first because it's in front of the line. Imagine this as a line going to the cafeteria or something like that, wherever you guys go. So because this multiplication comes first, it gets solved before this one. Okay, so we'll do this one first. So 8 times 6 gives you 48. But then we still have that minus 4 and that times 3. Okay, so now we're left with subtraction and multiplication. Again, I want to finish any multiplication and division before addition and subtraction. Okay, just because subtraction, you see subtraction first doesn't mean anything. I have to do the multiplication first. So 4 times 3 is 12. And then we still have to bring down that 48 that we haven't subtracted from. So what we're left with is 48 minus the 12. Okay. If it makes it easier, break up that 12 into 2 pieces, 10 and 2. So 48 minus 10 would give me 38, and then minus 2 more would give me 36. That's my final answer, 36. Okay, so that's what I should get on that one. Okay, let's go ahead and write this final one here for practice. 3 plus 7 times 6 divided by 3 minus 4. Ooh, and that one has all of your operations in it. I love it. Okay, so looking at this one, I don't see parentheses and I don't see brackets. So now I'm moving on to any multiplication and division I have. So looking at from left to right, the first thing that I see is addition and then multiplication. Okay, I can't do addition yet because I need to do multiplication and division first. So my multiplication is going to be that 7 times the 6. That's my first step. And that gives me 42. But again, I do one thing and then I drop everything else down. So I'm going to put the 3 plus and then divide it by 3 and minus the 4. Okay. So remember, you do one thing and then you drop the rest down. Now, I see addition, division, and subtraction. Again, any multiplication and division has to get done before. I'm sorry, I said that wrong. No, I didn't, did I? I don't remember. Sorry. Multiplication and division has to get done before addition and subtraction. So because I see that division, I need to divide 42 divided by 3. And you may not know that at the top of your head. That's okay. Do it to the side. Divide 42 by 3. I'm telling you right now, it's going to give you 14. So, and then again, I want to drop everything else down. I haven't added in the 3 and I haven't subtracted the 4 yet. Okay. That's what I have. Now, I'm left with addition and subtraction. I can do the addition first, and then I'll do the subtraction last. Because remember, they are besties. Addition wants to go first. So 3 plus 14. That should give you 17. And then on the outside, I'm going to put the minus 4. So I have 17 minus 4. Just like that. So 17 minus 4 leaves you with 13. Good. And that is my final answer. Okay. So what did we talk about today? Order of operations, PMDAS. First of all, I'm looking for any parentheses or brackets. That's always going to be my first step. Then I'm looking for multiplication and division. Multiplication and division has to get done before I can move on to addition and subtraction. Multiplication and division are best friends. They can cut in front of each other. So if I'm looking at the equation from left to right and I see division first, I'm going to do the division first and then work on any multiplication that I see. Addition and subtraction are also best friends. They can cut in front of each other. So if I see subtraction first, I'm going to do the subtraction. If I see addition first, I'm going to do the addition. Just like you're reading a book, you're looking at the equation from left to right. Okay? We also talked about the word simplify. Simplify means to make smaller. That's why we use it when we're talking about fractions and when we're doing these equations, because we're just trying to get down to one final answer. Simplify. Simplify means to make smaller. Okay, we will continue working on this probably on Friday because today you're doing centers and then tomorrow you will continue with your centers. I gave you a writing prompt today, so make sure that gets done. Make sure you do a rough draft on that one. That one's the dividing fractions. And you'll be doing small group with me. And then I forgot the other one, but you're fine. It's all going to be on the board anyway. You're good to go. Anyway, so PEMDAS, okay? PEMDAS. That's what I have, that PMDAS on the top of my wall to remind you the correct order. So that'll be good for benchmark 1. Remember to do your homework tonight. It's 16 to 24, I believe. And remember, you want to do your very best for benchmarking next Tuesday. If you do not do well on this benchmark, you're going to be coming in for extended day and you're going to be staying in for tutoring. Anything below a 70 to me is failing. Okay, that's the honest truth. There's absolutely no reason why you guys should not do well. If you're doing your homework, you should be doing just fine on your test as well, because I modeled the homework as best as I could towards the test, okay? Anyway, get your work done. There's no excuses. Don't be messing around. Get it done and get it turned in. That's one of my things that you guys have not been doing. Some of you are not finishing your work and then not getting it turned in. I know I'm giving you plenty of time, so that needs to get done. Okay? Love you guys so much. Sorry I couldn't have the dogs in here, but Rocky's not feeling well, and Max is trying to comfort him because he's a nice dog. Okay? Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.